Well, Jim, let's get at least one more question, one last one here on the show. This one was sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from JT in Morristown, Tennessee.
My old hometown.
Hello, Jim and Brian, and thank you for continuing to put out, and thank you for continuing to put so much effort.
Put out that cigarette, as Mean Gene would say.
Thank you for continuing to put so much effort into giving us great shows. I was listening to the latest experience, and when it got to the part where you were both discussing MJF's stardom, it suddenly hit me. He's currently at his Steve Austin in 1997 point. Everyone knows how good he is, and people are starting to cheer loudly for both him and his way of doing things, even while he's portraying a heel so effectively. At the same time, he hasn't gotten himself to the point in storyline that he could have a huge decisive win for the belt at the biggest show. In terms of stars, MJF is the heir apparent, but what do you think it would take to have him actually earn his crown?
That was a long way around there. I don't see the comparison to Austin in 97 because Austin in 97 was a heel, yes. But at the same time, he was a loner. He didn't exhibit, the only heel tendencies he exhibited were being a foul-mouthed guy who would jump you from behind or do anything to win. He didn't run from anybody. He didn't back off from people. He wasn't a smart ass that insulted people, especially insulting the fans. He wasn't, as I said, he was a loner. He wasn't a guy that depended on stooges or teammates or partners or whatever to handle some of his fighting for him like a true gutless, cowardly heel. He was just an unsavory fucking guy that people started admiring and looking up to because he wouldn't take shit off anybody. And he had a man's voice, a man's attitude, and a badass way of dressing and looking at things. And it was anti-establishment and anti-authority and take this job and shove it. The Johnny Paycheck country music fans were the first one to jump on the rattlesnake, but everybody started. That was completely different than MJF, who is pretty thoroughly in every aspect a heel, unlikable, untrustworthy, will use other people to fight his battles, will jump somebody from behind, will take advantage of someone, will back off from a face-to-face confrontation, will verbally annihilate somebody when the opportunity is there, but then show fear and or trepidation if they're there in front of them. The reason why everybody is cheering MJF now has nothing to do with the reasons why they started cheering Steve Austin then. It's not they recognized Steve Austin was a good wrestler, because there was a bunch of them at that time. They liked Steve Austin, the person's philosophy. Don't trust anybody. Austin 3:16 says, I just kicked your ass. I hate the boss. I'm going to fuck. That was what was appealing. All the guys at that point wanted to be Steve Austin and act like him and do those things. Now, the reason why they like MJF is because, number one, that 25 years later, everybody's smart to the business. They know that it's complete performance through and through. And so they're looking at good performers that entertain them to watch them. Secondly, since they don't have to take it seriously that MJF is a liar and a cheater and a thief and cowardly, whatever, they can appreciate his performance, which people were only starting to look at in the 1990s in wrestling, the mainstream wrestling fan. They didn't give a fuck about the performance as long as it didn't look phony and they liked the guy. That was fine. Now it's work rate and or the ability to do an interview, a promo, and fucking scorch the earth verbally. That's what they're looking for. They're not wanting to be mad at a heel or support a babyface because it's all a bunch of bullshit now. And since at the same time as that has happened, there's a dearth of entertaining wrestlers, either verbally or physically. All the matches look the same. They're all car wrecks. They're sloppy shit with untrained guys that fucking, every match is the same. You're just going to see chaos. Nobody sells shit. Or in the WWE, they made their matches mostly boring. So they're not going to get entertained by that. Nobody can fucking say suey if the hogs had them anymore, much less cut a good promo to really fire people up. And as MJF said, make them feel. So he's head and shoulders above that crowd. And nobody's putting together matches that make logical sense and get the point across and build to a conclusion anymore because they're too worried about getting a bunch of dives in and making sure that the newsletters give them a bunch of stars and everybody's flipping. And, this would be cool. I saw it in a video game, whereas MJF's matches, as his effort with Wheeler Useless last week showed, he doesn't flip. He works. He's the only one working anymore. He makes you want to see shit and then takes it away from you until the last minute. And he doesn't just bump for the sake of bumping for everybody because he knows that first he has to piss the people off so they'll want to see him have his comeuppance. So he's got a mind, he's got a mouth, and he's got a physique that he knows how to use in the ring. He's ahead of 90% of the other people in the business, and he's more entertaining than almost all of them. So that's why the people are cheering for him, because it's better than watching these children emulate their wrestling heroes and do tribute matches, or of the fucking trampoline cowboys, or the fucking goofy garbage match bullshit. It's all the same except for guys like MJF. The reason why all of that other shit used to get over in the territory days, a death match or a fucking flying guy or whatever, is because it was different and unusual. Everybody else was wrestlers that knew how to talk and work and either tried to make you mad or make you like them. Now he's one of the only ones of those left. Everybody else is diving and doing moves and trying to get on reality television and fucking having fun with their friends. And MJF's out there running a business. So they like him. And that's a natural byproduct when people believe nothing and you can't convince them anymore because so many people work against. Everybody in wrestling is actively every day on social media and in every interview they do trying to resist and fight against the fact that one person that day might actually believe something in wrestling that happened was real. They're going to make sure nobody believes that. They're going to fucking fight that at every turn. So that's why nobody gets over it. Everything's all bullshit. MJF is special because he's entertaining and fun to watch in a time when most people aren't. And since nobody believes anything is real, they're cheering for the devil. And there you go.